The chairmanship has just moved.
Comptroller Dugan, I am curious about Administrator Mills' response to Congressman Foster from Illinois when she emphasized that the administration's CRE refinancing proposal would only be for performing loans. Thus, a loan's past performance fully indicate a borrower's ability to repay, particularly on CRE loans?
Okay. I'm sorry, and the question is whether
if past performance by itself will indicate a borrower's ability to repay so that they could use the 504 to refinance.
I don't know the particulars of the 504 standards, but at least the way we look at loans, it is certainly very relevant what the past performance has been, but it's not the only thing. It has to do with what is the current projection of the cash flows to support repayment on the project is critical to understanding whether it's a viable one.
I would agree. The standards for the 504 program are very different from the way we look at it, but there are some provisions in the CRE guidance to take a loan. Say you had a loan for $1 million, the cash flow would support $800,000 to refinance that loan into a performing piece, the A piece, and then the less performing piece, the B piece, and treat those two pieces separately.
Well, in addition, I will remind the administration that the 504 loans cannot be used for the refinancing of maturing debt. Mr. Allison, here we are, because the banks are saying that you, the regulators, are responsible for the lack of financing provided to small businesses by financial institutions. And the administration's $30 billion proposal for small business lending, and we all expect that this is going to trickle down and that it will incentivize institutions to lend to small businesses. Given that in the past, when we discussed the TARP money, we didn't see the results of that money trickling down to small businesses. What will keep lenders from hoarding this money or using it to cover potential losses from commercial real estate? And I guess that you were all looking and listening to Chairman Bernanke when he talked about the next wave of defaults in the real estate area.
Chairwoman Velazquez, thank you very much for that very important question. Your first question being, why will banks lend more under this new small business loan fund than they did under the TARP capital programs? One very important difference is that TARP was intended to provide capital for banks to assure their viability going forward under stressful conditions. This program has been designed to provide a powerful incentive for banks to lend because, as you know, the dividend rate on this new capital can drop dramatically if and only if the banks lend incrementally beyond where they are today. A couple of other points. The small banks we're talking about have done a pretty good job of maintaining lending balances during this very difficult recession. We think many of them are eager to lend, and by providing them with more capital, in this case, capital that could increase their Tier 1 capital by 30 to 50%, they should be more confident about being able to support their existing assets and increase their lending at the same time.
You know, it just brings me back memories when Chairman Paulson was sitting right there telling us, don't worry, don't put any restrictions on any of these funds because I can guarantee that lending from financial institutions will happen for small businesses. And today, a year later, we're seeing the consequences. Let me ask you, what will be Plan B if the $30 billion doesn't produce what you are expecting?
Chairwoman Velazquez, we have designed this program after consultations with many banks around the country and with banking associations. And we've been assured by them that they would view this plan as quite different. Now, what's very important is that this lending fund be authorized outside of TARP, because as I mentioned in my testimony, many banks are extremely reluctant to take part in any TARP program because of what's called the TARP stigma. I think, and I am the person who's responsible for the TARP, I can tell you that a TARP program will not be nearly as effective to achieve your goal of stimulating lending as a program would be outside of TARP. So I would urge respectfully the Congress to enact a new legislation so the banks would be willing to take the money.
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask for a clarification? Sure. You were talking about responsible for the TARP. Are you talking about the capital purchase plan, or are you talking about the whole TARP?
Sir, I manage the Office of Financial Stability within the Treasury, which oversees all of the TARP programs.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
I think it's up to the Republican side on small business.